Libra overall, I consider to be the archetype of the interior designer, the fashionista, or the diplomat. Libra tends to be quite oriented towards fairness and making sure that things are equal and fair between people. It is a particularly aesthetic and social intelligence. Hello, my beautiful Libra friends. Welcome to Promethea Astrology. My name is Aleena, and today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the sign Libra. This is a part of a series I'm doing though. So I have already made a video about the cardinal signs. Libra is cardinal air, and the air signs, and the planet Venus, which is the planetary ruler of the sign Libra. So today will be more of an overview of everything that you might need to know about the strengths and weaknesses, general personality and disposition of Libra. But if you want to really get deep and complete in your understanding and connect more so to the core qualities that really compose what Libra is, so that way we are not just making stereotypes out of our personal experiences with Libra, but rather really understanding the deep ancient origins of what this sign is composed of and what it really means based on astrology, then I do recommend you watch all of these videos. But for today, I'll focus a little bit more on the symbol of Libra, the scales, the seasonal element, the beginning of fall, and also the body part associated with Libra, which is the hips. So Libra generally, cardinal air, ruled by Venus, masculine sign, the scales, and the hips. Libra overall, I consider to be the archetype of the interior designer, the fashionista, or the diplomat. Libra tends to be quite oriented towards fairness and making sure that things are equal and fair between people. As an air sign, air is more oriented towards the social and intellectual realms, but as a sign ruled by Venus, our planet of beauty, harmony, relationships, it is a particularly aesthetic and social intelligence because that is what Venus is more oriented towards. And I do think that understanding the planetary ruler is probably the most important part of understanding Libra. Each zodiac sign is essentially the manifestation of its planetary ruler. So for Libra, that would be Venus. And in the Greek pantheon, Venus was Aphrodite, the goddess of sensuality and all of the fine, beautiful, feminine things. And so these things are quite important to Libra. And there are two signs ruled by Venus. We have Libra, cardinal air, and also Taurus, fixed earth. So the Earth version of Venus is more oriented towards embodied, felt, physical pleasures. Earth is more about the material, physical world and also kind of our embodied experience within it. Things like food, fine foods, coziness, just really feeling nice. And for Libra as an air sign, it's more of an artistic, creative type of intelligence, as air is related to intelligence and also a social intelligence. Venus is also related to relationships. So relationships and how we relate to each other with your friends and your lovers, all of that will be very important for Libra generally. And as a cardinal sign, I really think of the key word for cardinal as influence. So the cardinal signs tend to want to influence their environment depending on the element in a certain way. So for Libra as an air sign ruled by Venus, the type of influence that it generally wants to have on the environment is one towards relational and aesthetic harmony. So how can I make the situation more peaceful? How can I make this space more beautiful? That is generally the cardinal nature of Libra in the way that they want to influence the environment around them through social harmony and also aesthetic, physical, beautiful stuff. And the two Venus ruled signs, Taurus and Libra, are also during the most beautiful times of year. So Taurus is the middle of spring and Libra is the beginning of fall. And so it makes sense that the Venus ruled signs are in particularly beautiful times of year. So the leaves are changing. It's very colorful. People tend to love fall. And that is sort of the seasonal component of Libra. It's the beginning of fall. Cardinal is always the beginning of a season. And so we're transitioning now into this lovely, peaceful, cozy time of year. And so as the scales, this tends to indicate for Libra, again, that orientation towards justice and fairness, but also can sometimes on the shadow side be a little bit of indecision for them, struggle to really act decisively and decide. Libra is opposite to Aries. Aries is the sign of the warrior. And so signs that are opposite in the zodiac have opposite nature. So Aries nature is to act decisively, to move fast and break things. It's the hero. Let me come forward. It's the machine gun. It is just getting out there, doing the thing. Act first, think later. Libra is the opposite. So Libra is going to more really weigh the pros and cons. How does everyone feel about this? Does this work for you guys? Well, we could do that, but maybe this would be better. Let me just really think about it and sit with it for a while. I don't know. It can be a little bit painstaking for them sometimes to really decide what to do. And so the superpower of Libra will be to really create peace in the environment. And so in a social situation, Libra will be very oriented towards how can I get this group to have cohesiveness. Libra generally does not want to ruffle feathers, start a fight. Libra is the peacemaker, not the war starter. And this is a really strong gift to have that level of social intelligence, to be able to say the right thing, to be able to navigate social situations skillfully in order to create ease within a group. That is a very challenging thing to do that Libra is very skilled at. Also, the aesthetic intelligence, unmatched, unparalleled. Libra tends to have a real vision for the environment. And again, it could be in this interior design type of way, how to get the room just right, how to set the lights just right, the art on the walls. It could be in a fashion sense in their physical body, how to really express who they are and how they look, and how to bring that visual appeal to the environment via their outfits and their fashion. Or it could be even in a lighting sense, how to get the lights right, or maybe just in a literal artistic sense. They could be artists and have painting or sewing or any of the other arts as their mediums. The weakness, though, of these Venus ruled signs, Venus is a great planet. Venus, we love, we love harmony, we love peace, we love beauty. These are great things. We love Venus. However, the weakness of Venus and Venus ruled signs can be sort of a lack of bravery or courage in certain situations. For instance, it can be very difficult for Libra to stick up for themselves, to assert their needs, to act decisively, and actually have to set boundaries or say something that might rub somebody the wrong way. Because they are so oriented towards peace and harmony, they can often really tolerate a lot for way too long, sitting in the discomfort, ignoring their own needs in order to meet the group's needs. However, I think it's important for Libra people to understand that when you do this, when you sacrifice yourself and your own needs in order to create peace in the environment and your social situation, you're actually not really doing anyone any favors. Because if you are lying about your own needs and putting everyone else first, or in this kind of like, oh, it's all fair and it's about them and whatever everybody needs. If you are not well, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not asserting your needs and pushing what is important for you to have, then that can often breed resentment. And it can also just make you less effective at what you need to do in the world. And sometimes with Libra, it can be under the guise of, oh, I just want what's best, but can actually be a lack of internal conviction, fortitude, clarity, bravery to do something emotionally difficult, to have to potentially make someone upset or angry. And that's okay that happens sometimes. You don't need to sacrifice yourself. And it's not actually really favorable or beneficial generally broadly to do that if you're not being real and honest. It's much more generous to assert your needs clearly and directly and honestly and stick up for yourself in the long run. Because if you don't, then the amount of resentment or what you're not able to really give because you're not getting enough will throw off that balance within yourself. So if creating balance outside of you throws off the balance inside of you, then it's not worth it. And this could be the nature of Venus, very much oriented towards relationships, and sometimes over identifying the relationship with the self can be a struggle with my relationship is me, or the way the relationship is how I am. And this is also opposite to that Aries nature that can be quite individualistic, but it is important for Libra people to understand who they are and have their own individual conviction and be able to act decisively on what their needs are. Even if it ruffles feathers, even if it's not what the group wants, you are still an individual. And the superpower of facilitating harmony within the group, amazing. Don't need to throw that out, but don't let it go out of balance. And this is also part of why Libra can be so strong as a diplomat or a mediator. They can be very good at facilitating conversations, really getting into what is fair and just and all of that. So a good practice for Libra could be learning to trust your gut. See if you can just, even one time today, if you're struggling with indecision or you find yourself stuck on a choice, you might just listen to the first feeling you have and act. Don't even think after that, just act. That can be a very powerful healing practice for Libra. And then the hips. So Libra is also kind of the butt and the hips. And it kind of makes sense that this Venus ruled sign would be over what is the most sexually appealing part of the body for most people and related to that kind of physical appearance that sometimes is very important for Libra and how they present themselves. And especially for Libra rising, this tends to be like maybe having nice butt, nice hips. So that's generally the way the rising sign goes. It can sometimes be just the body part that is accentuated for that zodiac sign. So Libra Sun, let's get into it. Sun, Moon, Rising. Libra Sun is going to have, especially because the Sun is the ego, the intellect, can be especially this aesthetic intelligence, especially this relational intelligence, and the way that you think, the mind stuff is going to be much more oriented towards fairness, justice, beauty, harmony, things like that. The Sun is also the ego, the light you shine into the world, the way people see you and know you more broadly. So this can be, maybe you're known for being quite diplomatic or being kind of a socialite, the man about town, all of that. That's sort of the Libra archetype. And then this can also be qualities inherited from the father. So maybe you might have a father who was quite artistic or socially adept, or maybe a little bit indecisive. Could be qualities inherited from the father sometimes. And especially with that mental, like, this or that, I can't decide, way that you think might be very much weighing the fairness a lot of times as the ego, the mind. Then for Libra Moon, this is going to be more about the body, the emotions, the mother, the subconscious, how you are in private settings. So this might be more the way that you show up in your private life with your relationships. So maybe, especially if you're born during the day, then the sun will be more of the ego and the light that you see. And then the moon will be more private and how you show up in relationships and this kind of like subconscious stuff. But if you're born at night, sometimes the moon sign can be more of how people know you too. It depends on that and other things. So this will also be more related to the feelings and maybe having a little bit indecisiveness with your feelings, and potentially, especially in relationships, you might have trouble really deciding or committing to people in your life sometimes. Or you might just be particularly more oriented towards fashion and how you express yourself within your physical body and beauty within the physical body, how you look, your body type, all of that might be more important to you, and the aesthetics of all that. You might take particularly good care of your body as a Venus ruled moon sign. Venus is just very nice and supportive and harmonious, and so that could be your relationship with your body, maybe having a healthier relationship with your body sometimes. Or it might be kind of like this and that, a little bit indecisive about how you want to look in your appearance. Maybe you struggle to really settle on a certain fashion. Could be one way to look at that. Also, again, qualities inherited from the mother. So maybe you had a particularly artistic, creative, or potentially indecisive, maybe socially adept mother. And these could be qualities that you inherited from her. And then for Libra rising, this is the totality of who you are, mind, body, and soul. And so Libra rising, you are just everything that I have just said. The sun stuff, the moon stuff, the general stuff, all of that is you. Libra rising will be just the utmost aesthetic intelligence, really oriented towards justice and fairness. And it will be extremely important for you if you are Libra rising to look at your Venus sign, because there are sort of 12 different iterations of what Libra can mean depending on the Venus sign. So the type of Libra that you are will depend on the zodiac placement of your Venus, and that will give us more nuance into who you are. And also the house placement can tell us the general purpose and life direction for you. So you will definitely want to take a deep dive into your Venus sign, understanding it as sort of the embodiment of who you are, because Libra is an embodiment of Venus. So whichever Venus sign you have, that's really you. And probably aesthetics will be extremely important to you, whether that is how you look, how your environment looks, and also probably relationships. And it will be especially important for you to discern who you truly are outside of your relationships and be able to act on your gut impulse. Those are going to be the learning points for any of this kind of Libra stuff. Those are the points of development. So I think that's all I'll say about Libra for now. Again, do check out the other videos I have on the air signs, Venus, cardinal signs, gender. If you want to really go deep with this, you might also leave me a comment if there is a question you have, if there's something I didn't say that you think I should have mentioned, maybe something resonated or did not resonate, let me know. You could also share this video if you think there's another Libra in your life who might benefit, or maybe one of my other zodiac sign videos if you like. Liking and subscribing goes a long way towards supporting my work if you found any value in this. And you might book a consultation with me if you want to really go deep in understanding who you are and what your purpose life direction is. I am a consulting astrologer, and so we can do 60-minute or 90-minute consultations, either understanding the birth chart as a symbol of who you are or diving into your future and what might be coming up for you. So you can check out the link in the description below at promethea.design/astrology if you would like to learn more about my services and how I might be able to help you align with your cosmic nature. Thank you so much for being here. Be well.